Busy earnings time, both
Indeed,
in Europe and the US. Let's start with a positive side on the coin first. So really, if you take a look at the chart and you take it back further, of course, than this earnings season, and we go back, say, a decade, earnings growth, according to this chart, largely explains the S&P 500's gains during the past decade. So while we start to question why we're at record highs again, does this chart say that actually there is no bubble here? Everything is as it should be?
Well, it's a question of how you define the bubble, isn't it? I mean, what we're looking at today is a position where actually the valuation on the US market isn't actually at stratospheric levels. It's nowhere near where it was in '87 or in 1929, for example. So the idea of us being in a bubble situation is really not the case. But as you were just describing there, if we move into the third and fourth quarter and there is the potential for earnings disappointment, then we've got to be a bit more cautious, because if companies start missing on their earnings, then people are going to get more worried.
Yeah, and this brings me to the point that a growing number of companies are not raising their full year guidance. Yeah. So that's just looking at 2019. But the market also, would you say, Chris, is not pricing any kind of worsening in earnings beyond 2019 into 2020?
I think that's absolutely right. And you've got to look at it both from the big picture and individual companies. But if you look at it from the big picture and you're looking at an environment where broadly companies are on balance likely to disappoint rather than outperform, then the market's going to take that pretty poorly and is going to look at other ways of creating opportunity rather than actually pushing the equity market ahead further from here. So this is a pivotal moment, and that's obviously what's being reflected in some of the Federal Reserve's thinking about whether it's going to be looking to cut rates to support the economy as we go through the second half of the year.